Welcome to the Black Tower. I am your brother, your friend, your host, your guy, Sorcerer Manasu. Alright, tonight in the Black Tower, we're going to be discussing Miscellanea Magica, or miscellaneous magic stuff. So, anywho, one thing I wanted to go over tonight, it's a concept more than anything else. In the Necronomicon, in some Necronomicon, it says that man is the gate by which the ancient ones seek their vengeance. Well, let us break that down just a bit. Let's keep it simple. Man is the gate. Okay? We're going to go with that thought. Now, with that in mind, let's think about what that actually entails. In today's occult current, there's a lot of theories, beliefs, practices, so forth and so on, that the gods, the angels, the demons, and all this other stuff are all in your head. They're connected to different parts, so forth and so on. And that simply just is not true. And I base my conjecture on personal experience of actual validity of things that I've seen, witnessed, and dealt with. It's like, for example, it's like this right here. According to the current or belief system that's in practice right now, is they want to equate everything to parts of the psyche, so forth and so on. There's nothing wrong with that in and of itself. However, what you must understand, and it's the basis of it, is that if you think of it this way, think of evolution of beings. When mankind was made with as an amalgamation of all these different powers of gods, demons, spirits, old ones, ancient ones, whatever you want to call it. And it was thrown into a mix, like a mixing bowl, to throw together. And from the clay and the breath of life, man was made. But the clay and the breath from which man was made is of all these powers, of all these beings. That's why we're able to work with them. That's why parts of our psyche we can tap into to be able to connect with these things. This does not mean, however, that we create the gods, the goddesses, the demons, the angels, the spirits. We do not create them through our mind. Your mind is a gate, yes, in the sense that what you allow in affects your reality. But that only goes so far. You can create servitors and spirits and all kinds of things using your mind to create and map it out. Kind of like how you rebuild your world as you see fit. It's based on that. But these powers were there way before us. And they will be there way after us. Because, see, man, though an independent being, and though a mix of all these things, mankind is finite. We have an expiration date. This flesh will die. This flesh will fade. The spirit will live on. The concept of reincarnation and so forth is the fact that we continuously are reborn in different forms, different lives, so forth and so on. And we gain knowledge. And it sticks with the part of your soul. And then when the soul is reborn into another body or another form, it picks up where it left off, whether you're consciously aware of it or not, and you learn more, and so it's adding to itself, the experience. But now, what I really want to get into tonight is spiritual amnesia. Because we are made up of all these things, mankind has no true singular identity. We do not know from whence we came, because unlike angels or demons or spirits or jinn or anything else, we do not know one thing that we came from. We know many things we came from. And the mind likes to defend itself, and amnesia is just a byproduct of the psyche defending itself. And so we suffer from a form of spiritual amnesia. And that's where the gods are far away and forgetful. That's where that comes in. And then you see the words in the conjuration. It says, remember. Spirit of the earth, remember. Spirit of the sky, remember. Remember, remember, remember. That is more of a call to us to remember. that we are of their line, we are of their descent, their lineage, if you will. But all things, not just one particular aspect. Oh, I like angels. Oh, I like dang. No, dude, it's a little bit of everything. Well, you know, but as we grow older, as we mature, and our brains develop and everything else, and we learn uh, uh, reasoning skills and our faculties develop and so forth and so on. What we have to do is we have to balance those inner forces. I have a particular motto that I use in ceremonial magic, Omnia Sint Unum, all things are one. Now I use this because it's to remind me that though the race of mankind has no true lineage all of its own, but it actually shares a lineage with everything in existence in the so-called invisible realm, or that which is not perceived by the senses, that we are made up of those parts. We share their lineage. Well, when you have all these conflicting lineages, it is no wonder that we suffer from spiritual amnesia, because the mind's like, whoa, that's too much. I can't deal with that. But now what we have to do is we have to put the pieces together. That's why the rites and rituals of the Necronomicon, that's why they're there. It's not necessarily just to cleanse and purify. It's not just to connect with the gods and so forth and so on. It's so that mankind can evolve. And so it's an evolution. It is an ascension work. Okay? Now, it's kind of like when you're doing money magic. If you are always focusing on the need or the want or the desire, it never comes to fruition. It never comes to pass. You must cast it and forget it, right? Well, in a sense, in these rites, that's what we're doing. We're walking through. We're setting ourselves up. We're recognizing the aspects of these things within our psyche. And we are working through it, and then we're placing it back down into the subconscious, back into the darkness to where it can take root. Like a seed. Like a sacred seed. But when you do this, you evolve, spiritually speaking. And then you remember that you're all these parts, all these pieces. Well, when you see what they're connected to and what they, affect, like we have the abilities of daemons within us. We have the ability of the angels within us to give order, to destroy, to create, all these other things. To communicate, to be psychic, to all kinds of stuff. Well, with that going on, you have to balance it out. You have to create balance. You have to marry the different pieces. You have to join them. You have to combine them. And this is a secret that's not exactly thrown out there in the Necronomicon, but it is something that you need to be mindful of, because it's a true thing. Where they talk about failure and defeat and stuff like that, what they're talking about is the fact that if you've not made peace with those aspects of yourself, you need to. You need to work through them. You need to work with them. You need to connect with them. You need to work through them, cleanse them, purify them, make them holy. And holy means to combine, to make sacred. Holy doesn't mean, oh, I'm in the heaven with the angels and God's on the throne and it's a sacred holy spot. No. Holy is when something is sacred. And it does not have to be of the light or of the darkness to be holy. But when it is important, when it is made sacred and pure, it is then holy. And that's what we have to do with ourselves. That's what we have to do with parts of ourselves. In certain parts of low magic and in some high magic, they say that there is no part of us that is not of the gods. This is true. But the humbling effect is the fact that, the gods are separate from us. The demons are separate from us. The spirits are separate from us. Aspects of them may abide within us, but they are their own beings. And we are our own beings. But to know and learn the connection to them, this is important for the occultist. And the reason why is because it teaches you how to better work with them and how to align yourself to where you become magical in a sense that, your word is powerful, where your thoughts give form to things. These are to like sharpen a knife. Well, it's kind of like sharpening your tools. This process, and you must go through it. It must be something that you do. And the reason why they keep pressing on about doing it in a certain order and that it must be walked before this one's walked and so forth and so on is because it's necessary. It's necessary for growth. It's necessary for development. And it's necessary for attainment. And with that in mind, that's what I wanted to go over, was the fact that though the current today tries to connect everything to parts of the mind, there is a connection there, but that's not all. They exist independently as well as within us. We just have their blood and their essence flowing within us, but we are our own race. The race of man, okay? Race of watchers, so forth and so on. The Dean Gear, all that. These are races. It's no different than if you're white, yellow, black, red, whatever. All the different races of mankind are. You know, we still share a single similar thread. We are mankind. We are the race of mankind. We are the race of humanity. And humanity is its own race. And in this, we are called to remember that we are all these things, and yet we are separate, isolate, different. And at the same time, these things may exist within us, but they exist externally, independently, all their own. Going through these workings, and not just these workings, but any magical workings where they involve spirits and things. I love how nowadays everybody's like, oh, that's just made up in your head. Oh, that's a part of this and that's a part of that. It's like, yeah, but it is also independent. It is a real thing. I have had angels come to me on their own, freak me the fuck out because I didn't expect it. I didn't call it. It wasn't anything I was doing. But they came on their own. I've dealt with demons. That's not exactly a fun thing, but you know, the real deal is a lot scarier than they say it is, but not really, because all things have a reason, all things have a purpose for existing and for being. The universe has cosmic laws and order that we can barely understand. And so this current concept that everybody's using is just mankind's grasp on trying to rationalize it, on trying to understand it, on trying to put it together and trying to piece it into a formable form of existence so that it's accessible. But I entreat you, the viewers, the practitioners, think for yourselves. Be your own being. It's fine to incorporate and draw these things in, and it's fine to see how they connect inside your psyche. But never forget, never, 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 my dear friends, forget, they are real and they are separate from us. Now, why they come, when they come, stuff like that, yeah, you can do it right and call them. If the elements ain't right, if you're emotional, if you're not in an emotional state that's productive towards it, or a mental clear state of being able to focus and visualize and so forth and so on, it could affect the calling, so forth and so on. But that don't mean they're not there. It doesn't mean that they're not there because you're not there. They are. You're just working on creating the atmosphere that is necessary, that is conducive to being able to call and work with these beings. But that falls back into the realm of thinking for yourself, being yourself, realizing yourself. I embrace spirituality. I am not bound to dogma, religion, stuff like that, but I hold all spirits sacred, whether daemon, angel, God, man, whatever, elemental. I hold it all sacred. It's all beautiful, and it should be beautiful to you, because all those things are within you. But be thankful that they also exist outside of you, because then you would have to realize how alone you truly are. If everything only existed inside you, how empty would this world be? But to be able to sense, experience, feel, see, touch the divine in that nature, in that way, man, that's beautiful. Because that makes life beautiful. You know, that's why you're not supposed to fear these things. Respect them, yes. Fear them, no. But you got to love them. You've got to just embrace them, accept them, you know, because they are a part of you and you're a part of them in a way. But unlike you, they don't have different aspects. They are just what they are. Mankind, humanity, is the only race that is capable of that. I mean, you know, you look around at the world around you and you're like, well, for us to be so advanced, we sure do some stupid shit and tear and destroy up a lot of things. Yeah, no shit, right? You know? But that's for a lot of reasons. That's for amnesia, one, because you forget where you came from. Forget what you are. You don't know. You're in denial, in a sense. Not denial as in no, I'm not, but denial is in the sense of the psyche trying to defend itself. Because it's one thing to know you have a mother and father. But let's take an out there thought. What if it took 3 women to make a baby? That's impossible in our way of thinking and the way that our reality is set. You know, it takes a man and a woman to make a baby, or it takes a seed and an egg. Not necessarily man, woman, because, you know, I'm not getting into the whole LGBT thing. I'm just saying, you know, but it takes a seed and it takes an egg. But think outside the box for just 1 minute. What if it took 3 women to bring 1 child onto this plane? Do you see how weird that would be? How just you couldn't comprehend that concept? And I'm not talking about like, oh, well, I have a stepfather, I have a stepmom. No, but think a little bit deeper than that. Well, all these different aspects are within us, but they are isolated. They just have one thing that they do. They have the order in which they're set to do. Even the daemons, not just the angels. The angels always represented light, order, and consciousness. Daemons, dark, chaos, and formlessness. Subconscious. Nothing wrong with that. And when you're working through the different parts, you're going to see these travelers, these visitors, these beings of these realms. They're real. They're there. But they don't exist because your mind exists. They exist because they exist. Your mind is how you tap into them, though, and call them into your working area. And a lot of times, they like to come and go on their own. When the season's right and the element's right, they do. But this is just something to think on. And I really wanted to do this video because I think it's important that when you're walking the path of the Simon Necronomicon or any of these workings, it's important to understand this truth. That we are made up of all these parts, but we are absolutely different. And these beings, they're isolated beings, and they're outside of us, not just within us. The connection to them is within us. That's why man is the gate. But they exist externally as well. All right. Well, I hope that wasn't too morbid or out there. I wish you all peace and blessings from the Black Tower. Talk to you later.